Good morning, everyone, and welcome to 51Labs, Inc. Virtual Shareholder Teleconference. I'm Oliver Hatchett, your moderator, and I'm thrilled to introduce you to the world-class leadership team driving 51Labs' transformative journey. Today, the focus is on the company's innovative subsidiary, 51Labs, and its pioneering AI-driven approach to functional medicine alongside a bold growth strategy, all designed to deliver exceptional value to shareholders. The agenda features insights from 51Labs' exceptional management team, whose diverse expertise is propelling the company to the forefront of the $320.6 billion functional medicine market and $5.68 trillion biotech sector. As this is a pre-recorded event, shareholders are invited to submit questions to the investor relations team at ir@51labs.com for future engagement. A note on forward-looking statements. Today's discussion includes projections about 51Labs' strategic acquisitions and performances. These are based on current assumptions and involve risks that may cause actual results to differ. For details, refer to the forward-looking statement section in the press release at www.51AILabs.com. Let's begin with Paul Arora, Chief Executive Officer, to outline the strategic roadmap. Paul, over to you.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Oliver. I'm Paul Arora, CEO of 51Labs, and it's an honor to be here and to be leading this transformative company. A bit about myself. As a serial entrepreneur with successful exits in health tech, I spent over a decade leveraging real-world evidence and artificial intelligence to solve complex healthcare challenges. My experience includes founding and scaling multiple companies, successfully exiting two, bringing deep experience in building, growth, and driving innovation in the health sciences space, working on initiatives to leverage AI and real-world clinical data to improve drug development pipelines, and I'll be working to apply these cutting-edge analytics approaches across 51AI's pipeline. I've developed business experience relevant to executing 51Labs' game plan, including uplisting to OTCQB and NASDAQ, strategic acquisitions, and a $350,000 investment with salary deferral to align with you, the shareholders. Our game plan is bold yet clear. We want to harness AI-driven drug repurposing and AI-driven functional medicine to redefine preventative healthcare and capture a significant share of the $320 billion functional medicine market by 2030, growing at a CAGR of approximately 11%. At 51Labs, our proprietary AI platform accelerates drug repurposing by analyzing vast data sets of off-patent compounds, identifying novel therapeutic applications with unmatched speed and precision. So this approach not only reduces development costs, but also delivers personalized wellness-focused solutions that empower patients and providers alike. Our strategic roadmap is built on three pillars: innovation, growth, and shareholder alignment. First, we're advancing our AI drug repurposing platform with a $1 million R&D investment, enabling us to pioneer therapies that address unmet needs in functional medicine. Second, we're targeting a $5 to $10 million biotech acquisition by July 2027 to expand our pipeline and market reach, positioning us as a leader in the nearly $6 trillion biotech sector. Third, we're pursuing uplisting to OTCQB and NASDAQ to enhance liquidity and visibility for our shareholders. To demonstrate our commitment, the new management team has personally invested $350,000 in 51Labs and deferred our salaries until we reach a $50 million valuation, bolstering our $1 million R&D budget and acquisition strategy, and aligning our success with yours. Our world-class team spanning AI, global health, and clinical research brings unparalleled expertise to execute this vision. So in summary, I'd say we're not just building a company, we're shaping the future of healthcare and delivering exponential growth and lasting value for our shareholders, partners, and patients. I look forward to sharing more about our progress as we hit those milestones. I'd like to thank you for your attention, to the entire team for being here. Thank you very much, Oliver. I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you, Paul. We really appreciate that compelling overview. Next, we've got James Orbinski, senior scientist, who will share his global health expertise. James, please go ahead.
Thanks, Oliver. My name is James Orbinski, and I'm a full professor of medicine at the University of Toronto, and I'm also a full professor of global affairs, also at the University of Toronto. I have more than 30 years of experience working in the domain of global health. And most of that experience has been with Médecins Sans Frontières, or Doctors Without Borders. I've also started numerous other organizations like Dignitas International, been a major founder, one of a team of founders for the Global Alliance for TB Drug Development. I was the co-chair of the Drugs for Neglected Diseases Initiative, which was initiated by MSF under my leadership. And I've also established a global health research institute at York University in Canada. Most of my experience, as I just said, has been with Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders. I worked primarily in war and in situations of social instability with Doctors Without Borders, which is a global medical relief humanitarian organization. And in my own experience, I worked directly in the field, either as a medical doctor or as a head of mission, in Peru, in Brazil, Somalia, Afghanistan, Rwanda, during the genocide in 1994, in Kosovo, Cambodia, Russia, and elsewhere. I've also worked with MSF at a global level, at a global institutional level, bringing advocacy and practical approaches to delivery of medical humanitarian assistance to organizations like the WHO, the World Health Organization, the World Food Program, OCHA, the Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, and so on. Most of that work was really focused on improving access to people who are the most marginalized people in the world, and that would most certainly hold true in situations of war. What MSF has been known for around the world is its commitment to excellence in delivery of humanitarian assistance and medical humanitarian assistance around epidemic diseases, around direct medical effects, trauma, for example, in war, and around ensuring appropriate healthcare systems and that they can function in situations of instability. MSF, or Doctors Without Borders, was awarded the 1999 Nobel Peace Prize. Over my career within MSF, I eventually became president of the organization, international president of the organization, and I had the privilege of accepting that prize. At that time, I took that opportunity to shift the scope and to expand the scope of MSF's activities from direct delivery of humanitarian assistance to a new focus, a broader focus on research and development for neglected tropical diseases. And what we had seen, what I personally had seen over my many years of experience, was that there were many diseases that people in the global south suffered from, but for which there was virtually no research and development. And so I took the opportunity of the Nobel Peace Prize and all of the media attention around it to announce the creation of a neglected diseases working group by MSF, which eventually led to the establishment of the Drugs for Neglected Diseases Initiative, which is a not-for-profit drug development company. MSF, under my leadership, started that company, and that company has now, over its 20-year history, has developed and delivered 13 new treatments for neglected tropical diseases. And these are diseases like African sleeping sickness, leishmaniasis, Chagas disease, parasitic worm infections, mycetoma, for example, dengue fever, HIV, hepatitis C. Many of these diseases people on this call would not recognize, but many they would recognize. And what has been the basic strategy of the DNDi? Well, it's very simple. It's driven by a commitment to the best science for the most neglected people and the most neglected diseases. We essentially identify compounds that have either a proven track record around a particular disease, or high probability compounds based on a sound scientific rationale. And we take those identified compounds and then apply our design parameters to those compounds. And so, for example, we need to be sure that whatever medicine we deliver is, for example, highly stable in tropical environments. And so, for example, the science of galenics or the delivery mechanisms that are inherent or vital to delivering drugs effectively becomes really, really important. And so the other key element of our strategy has been partnerships with the Pasteur Institute, with Pharmaguinness in Brazil, with the South African Medical Research Council, the Indian Medical Research Council, the WHO, their Tropical Diseases Research Unit, and many UN multilateral agencies, and many, many governments. And as well, strong partnership with the pharmaceutical industry. And so, for example, with Sanofi, with Novartis, with Cipla in India. The success of the DNDi has been predicated on a clear approach and a clear strategy of the best science for the most neglected people and the most neglected diseases. The results are really extraordinary. 13 new treatments delivered, and many, many more in the existing pipeline. In my case, I co-founded the DNDi and stayed on the board for many years through to around, I think it was 2012, 2013. And since, I have, as I mentioned previously, started many other organizations. Dignitas in Malawi, very much focused on healthcare systems, working hand in hand with government and with UN agencies. Excuse me, the Dadala Institute for Global Health Research at York University is my most recent initiative. That I started that about 7 years ago, and now it is a globally recognized research institute with expertise in use of modeling, disease modeling, and artificial intelligence to optimize safe water and to identify pathogenic contamination in safe water, in unsafe water, so that it becomes safe. And we've developed a series of tools around that question. And these tools are now being used in refugee camps and in other settings now all over the world. Also, another major focus of the Dadala Institute has been modeling using AI and systems-based modeling tools to model the health impacts of climate change. And then finally to model using AI and using deep knowledge and data systems to identify very specific prescriptions, if you will, policy prescriptions for 8 African countries around COVID. We're now using that same technology and expanding it to focus on identifying clinical public health priorities in different parts of the world. I've joined 51AI for a number of reasons. And I think the most important is that This is really an outstanding team of genuinely competent at the highest possible levels, genuinely competent people in the use of AI around identifying different applications for existing or known drug compounds. Joining the team, bringing my expertise in global health, whether that's at the level of institutional relationship, whether it's at the scientific level, or whether it's at the actual practical drug identification and development process. This is really, really an outstanding opportunity for global health. And I am very confident that 51AI will achieve great results. It's already well on the way to doing so. Thank you.
James, thank you so very much. We really appreciate you. We are truly grateful for all of your work, all of your service, and such a humanitarian framework. I mean, we're grateful as an understatement. So, thank you. Next up, we've got Nima Sakian, and Nima is the Chief Medical Officer who will discuss the wellness-focused vision. Nima, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Oliver. My name is Nima Sakian. I'm a physician with over 15 years of medical practice experience in Vancouver, British Columbia. I specialize in functional medicine and anti-aging. I'm the founder and medical director of a private anti-aging clinic in Vancouver, British Columbia. In my practice, I address a wide range of patient concerns, including hormone imbalances, weight management, and vitamin deficiencies. I utilize advanced treatments and protocols such as hormone replacement therapy, peptide therapy, and Botox to deliver optimal results and improve overall wellness. As both a wellness physician and entrepreneur, I have witnessed firsthand the transformative power of hormone and peptides in real-world health outcomes. I believe that combining these clinical insights with 51 AI Labs, cutting-edge AI technologies, represents the next major advancement in functional medicine. I strongly align with the mission and vision of 51 AI Labs. Traditional drug repurposing often bypasses animal studies due to well-understood mechanisms. Artificial intelligence enables accelerated screening and discovery of existing mechanisms. Functional medicine represents the future of healthcare, and AI facilitates the efficient exploration of trusted therapies. Thank you, Oliver.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Nima. Next, Alan Gupta, Chief Technology Officer, who will discuss AI innovation at 51Labs. Alan, please, floor is yours, sir.
Thanks, Oliver. Hi, everyone. My name is Alan Gupta, and I'm the Chief Technology Officer at 51 AI Labs. I'm a PhD-trained causal AI scientist with a decade of experience applying machine learning and real-world evidence to the evaluations of healthcare treatments and personalized diagnostics, including for regulatory approvals and reimbursement. Throughout my career, I've focused on using data science, including for clinical trial design and patient outcomes research, to help get safe and effective therapies to patients faster. At 51, I lead the development of our AI-powered platform that integrates clinical data, patient outcomes, drug interaction profiles, and patent analytics to identify and repurpose safe off-patent compounds. I'm passionate about the potential of AI to tackle the challenge of drug repurposing and to help us find new uses for trusted medicines. I share with the rest of the team 51's mission to use AI to deliver faster, functional medicine therapies by repurposing what already works, and our platform is designed to make that a reality. It's grounded in real-world data and built to deliver treatments smarter and faster. So I'm excited to lead these efforts and to work with our team and partners as we continue to advance this platform. Thanks very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alan. Next up, we've got Ed Mills, a scientific advisor who will discuss R&D efforts. Ed, floor is yours.
Great. Thank you for having me today. I'm delighted to be a founder at 51 AI Labs, and I'm so excited for the future of this company. By way of a brief introduction, I specialize in clinical trials and measuring health outcomes. I am a full professor of health sciences at McMaster University in Canada, and I'm a senior scientist at Stanford University in the United States. I've been conducting clinical trials for the past maybe 20 years and have developed a particular interest in the use of repurposed medicines and also the development of adaptive clinical trials and platform trials, new ways of doing clinical trials that lead to answers in a much quicker way. Within this context, I have worked extensively with the pharmaceutical industry, with contract research organizations, and also the nonprofit sectors, including FDA, Gates Foundation, and WHO. So some of you actually will already know my work from leading the largest clinical trial of repurposed medicines during the pandemic called the Together trial. I led that, and we were fortunate enough to win the Clinical Trial of the Year award in 2021 from the Society for Clinical Trials, the particular career highlight. In addition, I have recently been leading the world's largest study of repurposed medicines for long COVID called the REVIVE trial. And we have recently announced a treatment benefit went out associated with 51 Labs just last week. I'm fortunate to have several colleagues from 51 Labs that led that study with me. Christian Thorland, who you're going to hear from in a moment, is one of my longest term collaborators. And as are many of the 51 Labs team, with Christian, I've successfully exited several companies that we founded in the health measurement space. Christian has developed a particular interest in the use of AI over the past decade, and we've worked closely together to see where that's most applicable and where it's not. So as you're going to see from this discussion, the alignment of 51 Labs, AI Labs mission is linked to a clear map of patient needs, use of AI to identify the most likely clinical agents, and clinical trials to evaluate these effects. And it results in sort of a map that goes back and forth. So thank you, Oliver.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Ed. We appreciate you. Next, we've got Christian Thorland, scientific advisor, who will discuss AI and trial methodology. Christian, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Oliver. So my name is Christian Thorland. I'm a part-time professor at McMaster University in Ontario. Also past visiting professor at Stanford University and currently a senior scientist at Virex Stanford. When I'm not wearing my academic hat, like Ed mentioned, I tend to build companies and have exited a couple in the past, focusing more on advanced analytics and mathematical modeling in the services space, working with essentially all of the top 20 pharma as well as a very large number of biotechs. In that realm, I have several years of experience dealing with challenges that pertain both to clinical development, so developing clinical trials from the early stage till later stage, as well as once clinical trials have been finished, dealing with regulatory agencies and also getting access to the market with the drug and making sure that it's reimbursed from whether it's governments or insurance companies. I've published a fair bit, the majority of my publications actually with a lot of the folks in this group. It's led to me being recognized as one of the top 1% cited scientists in the past decade a number of times by the Clarivate Analytics biennial top published scientist in the world. I'd say since a bit before the pandemic, probably a year or two before that, I switched from standard data sciences statistics to specializing in large language models and specialized machine learning models. So a fair bit before ChatGPT came out, what was then known as large language models are no longer considered that large, but it's been very interesting to see the evolution. It's been fascinating, frankly, to see where AI has gone from being able to analyze a few snippets of small snippets of text, smaller data sets, to all of a sudden being able to analyze very, very large chunks of text and both structured and unstructured data. So where I'm most excited about this venture is that we have access to a lot of data. We're able to access piles of literature and analyze that in a matter of a few days. These are tasks that previously would have taken humans, large groups of very qualified researchers, years to even complete. And the same thing with very large data sets on patients and genetic data sets, that in order to find patterns or outliers in them that you wouldn't necessarily have detected before, again, would have taken years to do before, and we can now do that in a matter of days, assuming that we set everything up correctly. And we are already working on that. We've already made some exciting headways on it. I know we'll be coming out with a couple of announcements in the next couple of weeks and months, which I'm sure you'll find exciting. But I really do find this intersection between our expertise in the early stage clinical trial space, get to access, and then being able to use from scratch or existing AI models to really power through piles of data, whether it's literature or existing structured data, to be able to find these patterns and be able to find these spots where you can utilize cheaper treatments, or treatments that are not very costly for indications that one wouldn't necessarily have thought about, and even for preventative medicine and again in functional medicine and wellness. So with that, I'll say I'll leave it on to Louis, and thank you very much for your time.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you, Christian. We are truly grateful. Next, we've got Louis Drone, strategic advisor, who will share insights on market positioning. Louis, please go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much, Oliver. So it's always a bit of a tall order to do an introduction after such an illustrious group of folks, but I'll do my best. So my name is Louis Dron. I'm one of the strategic advisors to 51AI Labs. My background is in leading data science teams, particularly in challenging health topics. So in that role, I've worked extensively with the biopharmaceutical industry, everywhere from top 10 pharmaceuticals to small biotech companies, really leading the way in new drug discovery. We've also worked with government agencies across the world, multilateral agencies and global health funders, really to emphasize the adoption of technologies for biomedical innovation. So when the opportunity came up to work with this team, I was really excited. I mean, of course, you've heard about the talent behind everyone who's involved in this, but the topic that we're trying to solve has never been higher on folks' agendas. So the concept is not necessarily new for prevention. Benjamin Franklin was the person who's been attributed with a quote about 280 years ago, for an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And we see that in medicine and in the changes in the market. Folks are really trying to focus in on how can we prevent disease, how can we extend life, and also wellness in life as well at the same time. That's been a challenging topic to achieve before, and that's why folks haven't been able to develop as many pharmaceuticals in this space as we would hope. As you've heard, there are some revolutions in technology which are really going to enable the team here, who have fantastic experience in the space, to utilize, to leverage all of those opportunities to actually make impact on that topic of prevention and of wellness and of health. On top of the fact that there's some great technology backing this, there are some significant advantages in repurposing medicines. There are regulatory pathways, there are reimbursement pathways that mean that the time to market can be significantly reduced, alongside some of the innovations in the clinical trial experience and in the real world data leverage, as was mentioned earlier in this call. So where I'm going to provide the input into this is in terms of the market strategy and using those connections that I've developed over the many years in which I've worked in this space to catalyze the production of these new therapies for a service area which is in such significant demand. So thank you very much, Oliver, for the chance to do an introduction, and very fantastic to be working with this team.
Fantastic. Thank you, Louis. Thank you so much. Well, last but most certainly not least, we have Brandon Spikes, founder and president, who will share his vision. Brandon, it's your world.
Thank you, Oliver, and hello, everyone. I'm Brandon Spikes, founder and president of 51Labs. As a former NFL linebacker and a two-time national champion with the Florida Gators, my life has been built on hard work, discipline, and coming back stronger. That's the heart and soul of what we do here at 51 Labs. Our mission is to empower people, whether you're an athlete, a fitness enthusiast, or someone focused on wellness, to reach your absolute best. Our premium sports supplements and health solutions are designed to get you there. I'm excited to share that we're making strides toward partnering with leading universities to enhance our supplements and nutritional products. These collaborations are tapping into cutting-edge research to ensure products delivered with real results backed by science. We're still in the early stages, but this progress has us fired up about everything and what's ahead. The same drive for innovation are fueling our work at AI-driven functional medicine through 51 AI Labs. I'm thrilled about this. It's more than just products. It's a mission to change lives. We're harnessing AI to develop smarter, faster solutions for health and wellness, helping people thrive. With an exceptional team and significant resources behind us, we're ready to make a big impact in the wellness industry. It's an honor to work alongside our new management team, whose expertise are in biotech, AI, and global health, pushing us toward groundbreaking discoveries and bigger opportunities. Together, we're building something special for our shareholders, partners, and everyone striving for their peak. Thank you for being a part of this journey, and thank you, Oliver.
Brandon, thank you so very much. We truly appreciate you. Well, listen, now before we move on to the closing remarks, I kind of want to just shift a little bit to a more open dialogue with our leadership team. This is what I like to call my favorite part of the teleconference here. We've covered a lot of ground today, from AI innovation to drug repurposing strategy. And now I'd like to ask a few important questions that have come up repeatedly in conversations with investors and partners alike. These questions are for anyone on the leadership team who feels inspired to answer. This is an open forum, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. So first up, would someone like to explain for us the deferred payment arrangement? You know, why specifically are you doing this?
Sure. Yeah, I can speak to that. So thank you, Oliver. I really love this question. I think because it really speaks to the team's cohesion and trust, both between our partnership with 51 Labs and with the shareholders. So we chose to defer our salaries until we hit $50 million valuation or within 2 years, because we're all in on the long-term vision. So to put it simply, it aligns our financial outcome directly with shareholder value. What benefits you will benefit us. So on top of that, as I've noted, we personally invested in the platform to show real skin in the game, and it's a vote of confidence, I'd say, in our roadmap, the mission, and the future that we're building together. So that's what I would say to that.
Fantastic. Thank you, Paul. Let's talk a little bit more about uplisting. You know, why is this a part of the strategy, and you know, how does it fit into the broader game plan?
Sure, I'm happy to speak to that, Oliver. So we are targeting OTC QB by Q1 2026. So that's sort of the shorter term goal. And then the bigger fish, NASDAQ, after that. And that uplisting path, we feel, is going to increase our exposure and credibility and access to capital. And by creating that liquidity, we're going to allow many more investors to participate meaningfully. Further, I would add that institutional investors, so larger scale investors and strategic partners, will definitely take note of companies with that uplisting momentum. So it's going to help fuel bigger deals and acquisitions. So that's an important part of the path. Finally, I'd add that higher liquidity and capital access is directly connected to funding our R&D pipeline and hitting our valuation goals. So I would encourage shareholders to review the game plan that was communicated earlier. And I think all of that fits in very nicely to the uplisting path and why it's important.
Fantastic. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate your explanation there. So, I mean, you know, this team here has a wide range of expertise, to say the least, right? So from Nobel level science to AI innovation, I mean, you got the gamut covered. You know, can you speak to the cohesion of this group and how you all actually operate together?
Sure. I can make a few comments and maybe ask some of my colleagues to comment here. As Ed and others have mentioned, you know, we have in various capacities worked together in different roles and sectors over decades. And I think we bring quite a diversity in background with strengths in clinical medicine, tech, global health, and wellness, and we trust each other to lead in our domains. So keeping those collaborations strong and going keeps us well aligned. Perhaps maybe what I do is ask Ed Mills or perhaps Christian to comment a little bit about cohesion in the group and how our collaborations help 51 AI Labs.
Sure, thanks, Paul. So there's no question that there is divisions within the group which represent heavily on the AI tech, heavily on the health measurement, heavily on global health, heavily on functional medicine and clinical medicine in general. But each of them benefit from having a fairly deep understanding of the other components that go into making any new component that we're interested in working with. And so the clinical medicine people understand enough about AI to talk with the AI folks. The clinical trials folks understand enough about medicine to understand what the clinical reasoning is. And I think from our decades of working together, as well as frankly, this being a spectacular team of high-level scientists, the broad experience that people have got allows us to talk one language while specializing and being able to go deep into the different aspects of the technology that we're talking about.
Olivier, if I could, I would just like to add, as I described previously, I've been a part of many, many different teams in many different settings with many different particular global health foci, from drug development through to drug policy at a global level. And what I've learned is that overall, I've learned that I'd rather have a B idea with an A team than an A idea with the B team. And what we have here is an A idea with an A team. This is a fantastic, experienced, broadly diverse, and yet competent, highly competent, and highly committed team. That's why I joined.
James, thank you for that. If there's no one else that wants to address that, James, you bring up a great point. You say, this is an A team, an A idea with an A team, and I very much agree. One of the questions that came across our desk here is that, several of you guys have extremely impressive, academic credentials or partnerships. But, how does that really matter in this particular space?
Yeah, I'll just comment a little bit on that and maybe ask James to expand a bit. So I would just say that academic credentials are important for several reasons. I mean, for one, our academic connections give us access to cutting edge research and global thought leaders, and those partnerships will help us sort of stay sharp and on top of new discoveries and methods that are happening around the world with drug repurposing. I would also add the point that having deep and strong academic credentials adds serious credibility and supports our ability to identify and scale targets for repurposing by keeping us close to experts in labs around the world that are most knowledgeable about a compound of interest. That's going to be really, really important when it comes to developing a path for repurposing. James, I don't know if you wanted to speak a little bit further about the importance of leveraging strong academic networks to the mission of 51 AI Labs.
Sure. I think I would just address that in terms of very basic principles. What is it that academics do? Academics investigate. They ask very basic questions about the nature of truth, and they develop coherent rationales for the next question. That is fundamentally what an academic does. Now, this group is highly, highly competent in its deep understanding and its deep ability to identify the coherence of certain ideas, whether that is the viability of a particular compound or whether it is about the viability and use and application of ever-changing and ever-evolving AI technology to the challenge of identifying and repurposing existing compounds. How do academics do that? They do it through a combination of data and hypothesizing about the nature of a new understanding. That is at its core. That is what academics do. And they are fundamentally committed to that, not to speculation, not to blue skying, but to imagining a new approach to a challenge, the one that I've just outlined, based on coherent scientific understanding and based on coherent data-based understanding. That is the true value add of academic partners. And that's why in my career, I've sat both in academia and in the applied world. And I have found that relationship to be so fundamental to genuine innovation that has real impact in terms of effectiveness, in terms of excellence, and in terms of going to scale and approaching equity, which is an extremely important principle for me personally.
Thank you, James. Christian, please.
Yeah, I'd like to add to what James was saying. All of it, frankly. If I can go back to the benefits of working with an A team. Of course, as we build out 51Labs, we have to continually hire good people. And as we rely on AI to guide us through detection of repurposing medicines for whether it's wellness, functional medicine, or prevention, we need smart folks that can figure out how to work with the data in efficient ways. And I would say that what we've really been successful with in the past, being able to be first in class with the companies, having great exits and so forth, is that curiosity is something that you get in the top graduates, and they want to keep that when they go out to the job market. And we have first access to those kinds of talents because we retain that curiosity, we retain that seeking the truth, continuing to research rather than just running the corporate mill. Right? This is about exploration. This is about innovation, identifying new patterns, new signs, new things that you can move on in science. And so we have been very good at this in the past, and we've already seen it now as well with AI that we've been able to attract top talent. And I really think that's going to be a major factor in the AI in all areas of the market that's related to AI. You are not going to get very far if you can't attract the proper talent.
All makes perfect sense. We really appreciate you all, kind of explaining and bridging that gap, from academia to, the actual applied practice of everything you all are doing. James, you mentioned something as well. Key phrase, you said real impact. We talk about real impact, and the work that each and every one of you all do and have done and continue to do has real lasting impact for the everyday person. To that, I want to ask a very direct question, really my final question here. And you guys, again, with all of your experience and relationships, I really want to know, plain and simple, what makes 51 AI Labs different from everyone else in AI drug development?
I can speak to that. So for one, I think our focus on off-patent drug repurposing is an important differentiator. It's faster, safer, and more cost-effective. Our AI approach is aiming to integrate, just as an example, real-world clinical data with adaptive trials to move drug repurposing compounds quicker through the regulatory process than traditional biotech models. And I would say that we're not just software. So we are looking to build an end-to-end solution that includes acquisitions, delivery, and patient outcomes, as noted in the game plan. And finally, as we've spoken to here, I think our team's background in global health and wellness positions us uniquely to serve markets that perhaps others would overlook. I think that's a very important point as well. So for all of those reasons, I say we definitely stand out in the AI drug development space.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you, Paul. Thank you all. These responses, they really, really, truly underline the depth and alignment of this leadership team. You know, it's rare to see such commitment and collaboration and clarity of purpose. So with that, you know, we want to return finally to Paul Aurora, our CEO, for any final thoughts, you know, and a look at what's ahead, Paul.
Great. Thank you very much, Oliver. So just to step back for a moment, and, you know, you heard it from James and others here. I want to reiterate, you know, I'm so very excited by the quality and the gravitas of the team that we've assembled here. That's going to be critical to our success. And I thank them for their time today and the ability to speak directly to shareholders. On that note, to our shareholders, I want to reiterate my gratitude for your trust and support as we embark on a transformative journey. At 51 AI Labs, our commitment is unwavering, and I've said it before. We're aiming to leverage AI-driven innovation to redefine the functional medicine market and deliver exceptional value. So in the coming months, expect significant milestones, including the advancement of our AI platform at 51 AI Labs, progress towards the $5 to $10 million biotech acquisition by July 2027, and steps towards that uplisting path from OTCQB to NASDAQ. So I want to be clear, we're not just chasing market opportunities, we're creating them by combining cutting-edge approaches, AI, with a world-class team who you've briefly met here. We're poised to capture a substantial share of the functional medicine market and make a meaningful impact in the biotech sector. So our team's personal investment and salary deferral underscore our alignment with your interests, the shareholders. So together, we're building a future where healthcare is going to be smarter, faster, and more accessible. Stay engaged with us through 51ailabs.com and our investor relations team at ir@51labs.com. So thank you to the team. Thank you, Oliver. Thank you, everyone, for your continued support.
Fantastic. Thank you, Paul, and thank you to the entire leadership team showcasing 51 Labs' bold direction. We are truly grateful. The focus on AI-driven functional medicine, strategic acquisitions, and world-class team positions this company for leadership in high-growth markets, delivering unparalleled value to shareholders. Much gratitude goes to 51 Labs shareholders, partners, and community for supporting this journey. For more information, please visit www.51ailabs.com or contact the investor relations team at ir@51labs.com or 877-505-5006. Again, that's www.51ailabs.com or 877-505-5006. This concludes our teleconference today. We thank you all for joining us and wish you all a great day. Take care.